Hey guys, welcome back to Kayla's Cats and Crafts. I have a lot of cats and I love to craft. So if you like either of those things, you are in the right place. Today, with this little cat tail in the frame, I'm gonna go over my Joanns haul. So today I had to find yarn for the last video. I don't know if this is the color we're gonna use yet, but I like it, so we're gonna see if my grandma likes it later. So we're gonna set that project on pause for now, just because it is something that I wanna make sure she loves. But I have a whole bunch of other yarn and a whole bunch of other projects I wanna do. So let's get started on that. I have a bunch of storage boxes that I just bought from Joann's out of frame here. But I have big ones, I have little ones, there's a ton of them. But I also have this ginormous tote bag of yarn that I probably shouldn't have bought, but they just upped Joann's yarn sale, so 40% off. And I feel like that's a sale that's kind of worth it, especially because I found a bunch of colors in the same color lot. So when I want to do bigger projects, I get really annoyed. Just like this cardigan's an example. I did not buy enough yarn to do the full project. I thought I did not. But today, I think I did. I'm not sure what blanket pattern I want to follow yet, but I found an entire shelf of perfect phasing Bernat yarn, and I've been really having my eye on these, and I haven't found them in any Joann's. I went to a Joann's that's closer to my boyfriend's work than I normally go to the one that's closer to this current apartment. So it had a whole bunch of yarn that I have not gotten before, so I was very excited. The lighting's kind of crazy, but it's a beautiful teal. I got 6 of them. I got 6 of them because I'm a big lady. I don't know if you can tell by the framing of this video. I'm 6'3", so it's really hard to get blankets in my size. It's even harder to make them in my size, because if you've ever made a blanket, they take forever, even for the smaller size blankets. And I'm one that, like, if the blanket doesn't cover me from head to toe, I don't really want it. It's not a me blanket. That's a lap blanket. That's not like a me blanket. If you hear my cats meowing, you know what channel you're on. It's gonna be in the background. Lily's actually right here. She wanted to say hi. She's been doing great. She doesn't have to wear the cone of shame anymore, because she's all nice and healed up. So they're all just out of frame. Believe me, they're running around everywhere. But my goal today is to go through all of my Joann's haul that I just bought, get them into the storage boxes, and then go through some of my other stash that I have in cardboard boxes and get them into the hard plastic storage bin. So we'll start with these. Total of 6. Okay, awesome. That fills up already half of one of my biggest bins. But that is the biggest yarn that I bought. The second very exciting thing I bought was more of that Lion brand yarn in the mandala. It's not ombre. This one says it's baby, but look, it's rainbow. I'm so excited. This one's an even like cooler one. I don't love that they don't start and end at the same color, but we'll make it work. But I learned from my mistakes from the last one, and I bought 5. Hopefully that'll be enough this time. So let's get these into the bins. I got 2 here, 2 more. These ones are actually starting at the same color, which I love. And the last one, that one has a little green in the middle, so it's gonna be interesting. All right, this bag is much emptier now, so let's show you what else I got. I tried, keyword tried, to only buy yarn that I had plans for. So I already have one of a couple colors of sparkle yarn from Big Twist. I don't know if you've ever used the Big Twist Twinkle, but it's super sparkly, and I love it to pair in my double-stranded hats, my knit beanies that I make. It's just, everything needs a little sparkle, and it just makes it so much cuter. And I have some colors that I'm really excited to pair this up with. So that was the thought process behind that buy. Here's one I had no thought process behind, but they were just so cute and so soft that I couldn't say no. They were the only 2 left on the shelf. These are Basic Stitch Anti-Pilling from Lion Brand. And I don't know what it is about the Lion Brand yarn, but it is just so soft, and I'm obsessed. And just like, these are all my colors. Like, if I was a yarn, this would be me. Except for maybe sparkly, but you know. And then I just got this one because it pairs really nicely with these, and I don't know what I want to do with these yet. I don't know if I want to make beanies. I don't know if I want to make... I don't know what I want to make. If you guys have any ideas for just like smaller, I mean 3 skein or less projects for like acrylic yarn, it is a 4-weight, but I'm obsessed with these colors, and I need to make something cute and wearable for me. So that's those. Those are the only ones that I bought, and I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to make with them, but if there's only one set of yarn that I do that with, I think it's a good day. All right. So the next thing I got was, I went to 2 different Joanns today because the first Joanns didn't have the storage boxes, but they had way more yarn. So I got most of the yarn at the first Joanns and most of the storage boxes at the second Joanns. But at each Joanns, there was a very, very torn apart crochet hook section. I wish I would have recorded inside, but I'm still too nervous to do that. But I love these. I think they're Prime? I don't know. But I picked one of these up one of the first times I went to Joann's, and they're just a really like nice hold in your hand. I don't know how to describe that, like the ergonomic grip or whatever. But I have a Clover Amore hook, just one, and it's a 5mm, and I was just like, they're too expensive. These were on sale and they were way cheaper. I was like, sure, I'll try them out, because I was also using another set of ones very similar to the Clover Amore, but they were kind of like a cheaper set that I got for Christmas from a family member. I think my mom got them for me actually. But I love them, but the grip like comes off of this thing. I think it's on my 5mm. That's why I got the Clover Amore one. But I just have a feeling that the Clover Amore might have the same issue, because when I'm doing my really tight mesh market bags, which I did get some yarn for, and I'll show you in a second. When I'm doing my really tight knit mesh market bags with the Lily Sugar and Cream, I just end up pulling the grip off, and it's a terrible time. So these ones don't actually have a separation between the grip and the hook part, whereas this one's like a metal hook with like a silicone grip. This one is more of a plastic hook all the way through with like a silicone coating on it. And I love them way more, but the problem is since Joann's gone out of business, everybody's like panic buying hooks. And so I haven't been able to track down the sizes that I normally use. So I have like a 7 and an 8, and I think like a 3, which is like, I don't use 3 very often. I don't use 8s very often. Honestly, I don't use 7s very often, but I did use them for the cardigan this time, and they came out way better than when I was using my 6s before. So I actually think those are really good cardigan sizes. But I found a 4 and a 6 at each of the different stores. I found one hook that I was able to use. All of the other ones were either super tiny or super big. Like I'm talking like 15mm hooks. And if you know anything about hooks, those are gigantic hooks. Those are not hooks that I normally use for the crafts that I normally make. So it's a fun time. Plus I already have big hooks. Like I don't need more. This is like, I think this is an 11. I don't need any bigger than an 11. But if I do, I also have one. So I was not going to buy more. Anyway, so this is the last of the haul. I make the mesh market bags that Passionate Kelsey usually does. But I really loved the one time well, maybe not one time, but how she does the like mesh part of it in one color and then the straps in another. So I got these. I always try to buy them in pairs because the variegated colors in the Lily Sugar and Cream are smaller than the solid colors. So when I pair them up like this, I end up with about half of half of this big skein left because I only do the straps in the solid color. So it works really well to buy 2 of the variegated, and then I can just make 2 of the exact same bag, which is also awesome because if somebody loves my bag, I'm like, oh, here, I have one just like it. So These are some really cool colors that I haven't found at my local Joann's. I believe these are called Kelp. Yeah, these are Kelp. And this is Jade Mist. So we have Kelp and Jade Mist, and I think they just go together so well. They're so good. I just love them. And I have a whole bunch of other Lily Sugar and Cream in one of already the boxes they're gonna live in. So maybe one day I'll go through my stash with you guys and kind of show you what I have. But it's a lot of these. It's a lot of pears and then a solid color that goes with the pears, because when I bought them, I had market bags on the brain. And then I stopped making them. But we're gonna get back to them. I'm gonna make more market bags. Maybe that's what we'll do in the next video or this video. I don't know. I don't know how long this is gonna be. But these are some other colors I got. They're very similar to the original ones, but this is teal. And this is Pebble Beach Ombre. And they're so pretty. I don't know about you, but my favorite colors are teal, pink, and purple together. Like, they have to coexist, which is why this is me in a yarn, because it's just so pretty. Anyway, so that's basically the haul. I got a storage box because I'm trying to work on making some custom tags. I got some made, but then I messed up the logo that I wanted on it, and I don't even know how I'm gonna use those because they're leather tags and I feel like they're ruined. That might be a DIY save in another video too, because I really liked them, but I messed up the logo, so it is what it is. Alright, so that is today's Joann's haul. The thing is, I have several boxes of stash yarn that I've collected over the last year of crocheting, and some of it is like yarn that I don't think I'm realistically ever gonna use. And some of it is yarn that like I loved at the time, but I didn't realize I don't like plushie making anymore. I mean, I like plushie making, but it's not my favorite anymore. So it's a fun time to figure that out way late in the purchasing game. So I might try to look for a couple like donation centers around that might take some yarn, but honestly, with the move coming up, that's probably not going to happen anytime soon, just because I don't have that much extra yarn. It's just like, I'd probably say like a dozen skeins or so in total that I just don't want to ever touch again. The rest of it, I feel like I could kind of come up with different ideas and ways that it can be used that I wouldn't be mad at. I don't know. I always feel like I'm out of breath in these videos. I'm just so excited to talk to you that I'm just like, I can't catch my breath. Anyway, last of the crew came to say hi. They love to climb across my desk. My boyfriend hates that they love to climb across the desk. I also kind of don't really love it, but how am I supposed to stop them when this is the room they live in? I don't know. Hopefully that changes in the next apartment. I'm really excited for the next apartment because we have these beautiful, like, it's like bay windows kind of, where there's just like windows on all sides, which is gonna make lighting so much better for these videos, hopefully. And that means we're gonna put our desks out in kind of where like the dining area would be, because we don't really have a dining table. And that way we can have the guest bedroom for actual guests, and it's gonna be a great time. I'm so excited. I've already been talking to my grandma about getting bunk beds, but like bigger than like a twin size bunk bed, like a queen size bunk bed, because I have a cousin that loves to come up with her, and it just sounds funny, honestly. So we'll see how that all comes to light, and I would love to show you guys the new apartment as soon as we can. We move in a little less than 3 weeks, so very excited. Okay, what's next? I don't know. Well, you'll see me when I figure out what's next. Okay, so 2 rules. I'm not the cleanliest person, so don't come for me. This is also the cat room, so it's probably the messiest room in the house. And I just exploded boxes all over it. This is a stash box I want to empty. This is a stash box I want to empty, clearly velvet yarn. And that is plush yarn and flour. He really likes cardboard, so a lot of these cardboard boxes are like super cat scratched. So are my chairs, but don't look at that. So this is the box we just filled, as well as all of these guys that are empty waiting to be filled, and we filled part of this guy. So lots of yarn. And then I have my already existing stash that's somewhat organized in these boxes there. But we're going to try not to touch that because, as I said, they're already partially organized. So through my many trials and errors of a variety of projects, I've collected tons of yarn from tons of different places. A lot of Bernat velvet. So I have a velvet box, and this box still has velvet in it. So if that's not telling you what we're getting into today, be prepared. So I think we need to start with some velvet yarn. I have some medium-sized boxes over here. We'll start with that just because I don't think there's a whole ton of velvet in this box. I believe most of it's in the other one, but I could be very wrong. So we got some, this is Amazon velvet yarn. It's actually not too bad, it's just way thicker. Thank you, Lily. This is what I deal with on a daily basis. Okay. So they're actually pretty nice yarns to make scrunchies out of. And then I made stuff like this out of them, which was really nice. So yeah, this box has a variety of things. Just this box alone has like cool add-ons. So we got zippers and tags and a Wibbles kit that I've never made. Sorry, Elise. It's so cute though. I had to have it just for the hook, which is actually over here in my hook cup on my desk, which says her name and "You are a good maker," which is just so cute because I am a good maker, even if my room is a chaos cat yarn mess. But you know. So I'm just gonna stack things kind of together. We'll actually put them nicely in the bins, probably off camera, but Flower really liked this one. So we have some more blanket yarn. This is left over from the big blanket that I made, but honestly, I made it long enough, or wide enough, I guess, but not long enough the other direction. So honestly, we may need to circle back and add that onto my already made blanket. Then we just have random yarn from when I was plushie making with blanket yarn, and it's a lovely mess. I got some more velvets, some headbands, head warmers. These should really be going in the Christmas bucket, which is something I forgot to bring in here. We got some scraps from Juicy Couture just because, I'm sorry, but it was too pretty to throw away. But it is not enough to make another scrunchie, unfortunately, and I don't think I have any more of that color. And as you know, Joanns is the only one who makes it, so that's always a fun time. This is some, I don't know what, but I was given it by my grandma that I'm making the cardigan for. It's full of cat hair, but it's like, I don't even know. She's had it for probably longer than I've been alive. If anybody has any ideas of how to use something like this, when I accepted it from her, I thought about putting it around like the brim of a hat, because Raven has tons of hats. And that felt like a cool idea, but now I don't know. Maybe it's a future video. Whew, this is a fun time. Give me just a moment. Okay, we're back. I sorted out most of the blanket yarn, and now we're down to just like scraps. This was left over from my witch costume. Thank you, Flower. Thank you. But this was left over from the witch costume I made. I have no idea what to do with it because it's Red Heart Super Saver, which I have now learned is like the worst texture in my opinion. So this is one of the ones where it's like I have enough to do something with, but I don't really want to. I tried to make like coasters, I guess. I don't know what I was going for there, but I just don't like them. I didn't want to keep making them. I have a scrunchie that's way too small because I was trying to figure out how to make little kid scrunchies, and it's just not good. the trials and errors. So this is going to be like the scrapped and failed projects bucket for now. And then I just have a lot of yarn labels. I have some ribbon here that I used to gather as a drawstring. I have a cat. Hello, flower. This is a cute little flasheen bag. No idea what to do with this. I originally was going to use it to hold my crochet hooks, but I love them on my desk. Maybe they'll be a travel bag. I don't know. And then hair ties, of course, for scrunchies. And some stitch markers. Didn't know where those went. Okay. I think this box is now trash. I like to save the scraps for stuffing, but frankly, I think I have 3 more bags over there somewhere, so I guess I'll just add it to the hoard. Okay, so that's one box down. I need to get to this one next, but somebody has claimed it as their own. Oh, is she getting down? Maybe. Okay. Scoochie down. Go somewhere else. Okay, or not. We'll be right back. Okay, we're just gonna move on, even though Mouse is still here. Excuse me, sir. Thank you. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Here. If I move the bag, will you move? Okay. Or go the other way. Whatever. Okay. So, oh, I didn't even know I had a bin in here. That's annoying. Okay. So again, lots more Amazon yarn, lots more Bernat velvet. I actually bought a lot on Facebook Marketplace from a lady, and there were so many colors, but they were all like super pale pastel colors, which I don't love for scrunchies, because honestly they're the ones that I end up having to keep the most of, but it's okay. So let's move these into the velvet bin. I might make a velvet bin just for the non-Bernat velvet, because it's looking like the Bernat velvet might need its own bin. This is so much tealer on camera, but it is very much dark green in person. Uh-oh. Okay, so since I very much have way more velvet yarn than I do blanket yarn, thought that was a different, I don't know what I thought I had. This is why we're going through the stash. Okay, so lots of velvet yarn. So I put the couple blanket bundles into the little scrap yarn bin because they kind of are scraps. So we are gonna make this big boy a velvet bin. And I'm gonna try to see if I can fit everything that was in that velvet box into here in a way that I can still actually see everything. Wish me luck. So we got lots of pale pinks in here. This works out as a really nice time to kind of just organize everything. Okay, so we're gonna get all of the velvet, the Bernat velvet, out of that other box and make sure it ends up in this one. What's interesting is I definitely bought these colors long after the big box of yarn, like I needed more. I think I maybe just thought I didn't have these colors. I didn't have the red, but I definitely had the yellow and I definitely had the green. You know what? Never mind. I know why I did it. Our high school colors from my hometown, where my parents and grandma live, are green and gold. I probably thought, oh, I can sell more of those. I don't know. I went through a whole phase of I wanted to start a business and I wanted to make this whole thing, but I have a full-time job and it wasn't realistic. So that's why I'm talking to you guys, because I still get to do the project that I wanted to have and kind of what I was craving when I was thinking of making this a whole business. But I can do it from the comfort of my own home and not stressed about sales or anything like that. I just get to make what I like to make and give it to the people that I like to give it to and tell you guys about it, which seems honestly way more fun than handling all of the fancy smancy tax business stuff. I might in the future, we'll see. But for now, we get to sort yarn. So I guess we're gonna do a time lapse of that. I'm just gonna kind of show you guys, like flash across the screen what I have. Oh no. I have a predicament. Okay, so I actually think we did it. I can't see, oh, grabbed you from the wrong side. I can't see everything from the top, but perfect timing as this one jumps to be in the way. Flower, don't, just don't, child, thank you. Anyway, from the top, you can only see a few colors, but from the side, you should be able to see everything. So underneath here is all the yellows and pinks. And we got more under all of these guys, so just know that there's 2 layers in here because it's the nice tall container. But that is everything out of the box. So I think we did it. I call that a win. 1 box done. Well, actually 2 boxes. So, and they're the big ones. I honestly don't have too much more left other than some plush yarn. But I think that there's some yarns in that box that might need to just be thrown out because they're kind of unusable. And that also gets me this box back, so that's sick. I've been trying to rearrange everything to where we can use boxes like this for the move, and once we get them over to the other house and unloaded, if they fall apart or whatever, we just get to throw them away. And then all of my stuff, like my yarn, is put in boxes so that it won't get messed up, because the cardboard, they absolutely get messed up, as evident by most of those velvet skeins kind of being a mess. I really should cake up some of them, like a couple of them were. Those were actually pre-caked by the person that I bought them from, because as I said, they were pre-owned bundles. So they've also been through a whole other person's house and life, and they're just a little bit messy, so I really should go in and wind them. I just got my first yarn winder, so seems like a lot right now though. So we're gonna just stick to sorting, and I don't know what's next. I think I'd set aside all of this Amazon velvet, and they all live in these really I'm going to set aside all the scraps into the little scrap bucket just to kind of keep them all together and see what we have, and maybe we can make something cute out of just the scraps. That would be so fun. Okay, she's done. So you can see kind of all the colors from the outside, and there's only white and purple on top. And for the most part, minus some kind of definitely not full skeins scraps, this is all of my Amazon velvet. I do eventually want to make all of these into scrunchies or headbands. These ones are actually really nice for headbands because they're a little thicker than the Bernat velvet and Juicy Couture that I use, which makes them really dense and like warm on your head. So we have a lot. It's definitely an option. As for all the scraps though, I'm not sure, because I'm gonna only be able to pair the scraps with the same size scrap, I think. I don't know. I've never done a scrap project with multiple scrap types, but I'm sure it's possible. And I definitely want to figure out something to do with the last of this Juicy Couture yarn because it's just so pretty. I had to save one of the scrunchies I made out of this just for myself because it's so pretty. And then, yeah, just some, this might be together a full skein of the green, but it's a mess. I'm gonna put it in the scrap bucket. We'll maybe migrate it back to the full Big Kids bucket later. Alright, okay, so that is another box officially finished. Alright, I have to give you the satisfying clicks because it's a new box, so they're nice and crispy. That's a good one. Alright, so that is 2 boxes completely full. As we have the Bernat velvet and the Amazon velvet. And then this is what the scrap bucket's currently looking like. It's mostly, I'd say the biggest part are these like bundles of, I think, Bernat blanket yarn. I don't know, I've lost all of the, that's like a full skein. That is a dense skein. I wound that up. This was before I ever knew what a yarn winder was. And then just some velvet scraps, and then this thing that I still don't know what to do with, but I'm sure we'll figure out. And then my little failed coasters, and this is left over from my witch outfit, which if you guys have not seen my witch hat and witch skirt, you need to go to my Instagram and look at all the pictures there. That was my Halloween costume last year, and I wore it to one of my friends' weddings because they were having a Halloween wedding, and it was so much fun. Okay, last but not least, we have the plush yarn. And the thing about the plush yarn, I don't know what to do with it. Most of this is Loops and Threads yarn, which is the Michaels brand like plush yarn, and most of it is the Chenille Home Slim specifically. And it's good yarn, but the thing about this yarn is depending on the color, depending on the lot, depending on, I don't really know what, it's kind of a gamble every time I use these. They're either really nice to work with, they work like butter, nothing sheds, it smooths, it's just amazing, and I can make plushies with it all day long, or I get some sort of, flower just knocked over some boxes, I just get these really bad skeins of yarn that don't stay together, the yarn separates, the fibers come loose, it sheds everywhere while I'm working with it. Don't even attempt to sew with it. And yeah, this is one of them. It just like comes off in huge fuzzies, like huge fuzzies. And if you like, you end up with this in the middle of what you're working on and you can't fix it. There's no, like, it just gets worse the more you touch it, and it's just a terrible time. And it, like, literally this is the reason that I stopped making plushies, because it's just so aggravating. It's just so aggravating that I can't push through it to make a plushie. But like the yarn, when you're done, if you can push through it, it doesn't seem to like do that on the final product. I don't know, but it makes me very upset, and it's always a gamble of which one works and which one won't, and I don't love it. But a lot of this has lived in the cat room, and is full of cat hair and cat smell, which is not, you know, something appealing to most people unless you're a cat person and don't care like I am. So it's just like, this is the yarn that I actually pulled out of a bigger box of this plush yarn to save because it smelled the least and it didn't like have as many issues, but there are definitely still skeins in here that have issues, as you can tell. So I don't really know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it. I want to make like little amigurumi maybe to try to get rid of it, like a whole bunch of little octopi. That way if I hit a snag in the middle of the skein like that, I can just cut it off and start a new one. But it's going to be one of those videos where I'm just going to be making a whole bunch of the same thing. And I need to get eyes, the little like safety eyes. Or I need to start sewing on a bunch of eyes, which I do because I have a lot of the people that I've made plushies for usually are giving them to a child, and you don't give safety eye animals to a child. There's so many like things of like it should stay in, it should be locked in, but there's always a way to get it out, and they're just so small and it's just too dangerous to put in a child's thing. So I always sew on my eyes if I know it's going to be around a kid. I also have to think about that now around dogs, because I gave one of my friends these little plushies that I had made, and she said one of her dogs got to him, and her dog's like a little pug, and she ate the eyes out of the plushies, and I was like, is she okay? And they're like, no, yeah, she's fine, but we were just really upset that like the thing that you made for us got destroyed. And I was like, I can make you another one of those. Is the dog okay? So I might just sew on eyes, which I usually do with just like black yarn, and I make like a little, if it's big enough I make a magic circle, if not I just kind of sew it around in a circle in one spot. So maybe I'll make some plushies. Like I said, this is the yarn that I've kind of already distilled down into yarn that I think I could use for plushies like that. The two pinks are actually really new. They look not new, but they're really new in relative to everything else in this box, because I made a Minecraft axolotl for one of my coworkers' sons, so that was really cool. But yeah, I had originally picked out a lot of these colors to make like flower. I have this pattern where it's like a little flower planter with a flower in it, which I might still do. I was talking about that idea in the last video where I want to make crochet flowers. So this is like the idea that I had for like the flower pots, or even making the pots colored and then just having the dirt. So we might still be able to make those. Those don't require eyes either, so it might be a good project to do. And at some point I had these hanging on my desk because I was trying to do like the equivalent of that cool magnetic yarn holder without having to purchase the cool magnetic yarn holders, and I had these little cable ties that are magnet, so I had just stuck them up on the railing of these desks. They're all metal, so I just stuck it there and had it hanging as I was crocheting. I thought I was a genius, but I didn't end up continuing plushie making, so now I just have a bunch of these tied to a skein I don't use. I do have some thicker plush yarn, which I don't really know what I'm gonna do with. This was when I was still trying to figure out what all the yarn weights meant. And I actually have a stuffed bunny. I might go get her in a second. I call her Snuggles, but I did Snuggles dirty because I didn't understand yarn weights, and I had gotten two of the same color. I think it might have also been loops and threads yarn, I'm not sure. But I got two of the same color skeins of yarn to make her, but one of them was I think one of them was a 6 weight and one of them was a 8 weight or something like that. And you can absolutely tell. You can absolutely tell. So you live and you learn, but it is something that I have learned over time. So don't beat yourself up. But then I do also have yarn that I don't know what to do with. But I feel like these could make some really cute little bear, or like, you know, like the little round plushies that just kind of have ears and little hands. I feel like I could make some cute ones out of this. And then we come to the yarn barf skeins. I don't like, it's good yarn. It doesn't have a really hard cat smell. It is one of the least of the, see, this is what I mean. You'll get it just in the middle somewhere, and then once that starts, it just continues down both ways. Like, it just disintegrates. So it's a terrible time, but it's a very cute color. I don't want to wind it right now though, so it will be bundled and stuffed in the box. Oh, I do have some more of the thick yarn. Okay. It looks like I have a little bit of pink and a little bit of white. Or on camera this looks very orange, but in real life it's like a, I'd say like a peach color. Like, it's very pinky, but also orange. Wow. I don't know if you guys are seeing what I'm seeing, but from what I'm seeing in my little camera, that it looks straight orange, and it is not. Let's see if I can compare it to something pink. Here, I have churros that are pink. That looks straight up orange. Okay, whatever. It's like a peachy color. But I think if I make the little bear things, this would be really cute as blush. And then we have little white. Like that. It's not at all a full skein. It's kind of just a handful of white. But, you know. But that is all I have of the bigger, like, thick yarn, so. Which I believe is the Chenille Home. Because there's the Chenille Home and the Chenille Home Slim. Learned that too. Add a little bit more of the brown. And some gold that's really nice. Could be cute for some sunflowers. And then a little bit of this, like, I believe I remember the color. This one was boysenberry. It's like a reddish. Shout out to my friend who tried to get me this cute little yarn wine contraption. It did not work. It kind of fell apart, but I tried to use it for as long as I could. But now I Raven wrapped this around here. I don't blame him. I asked him to, and now it's just like a pain to get off. But it's just more of that loops and threads. Oh, we have a new visitor. A new visitor has joined the field. The boogie boy. This is my 15-year-old. He's so cute. You don't look a day over 5. Okay. I didn't need this tote. Yeah, I have no other arguments. I didn't need this tote. But look how cute it is, and also I can definitely... Sorry, Happy is joining the class by stepping on everything. But I can use it while moving, which will be really nice. So this is the aftermath of the velvet. And then this is the leftover of the first yarn that Raven ever bought me, which is interesting. He just thought I'd really like the colors, which I do. I love the oceany purples, and it's so pretty. Okay, so I think we actually did it. That is the end of the plush yarn box. I will show you what we have. So we got this guy. She's kind of a mess, mostly because I didn't want to sit here and wind up all of these skeins. And it's not something that's bringing me joy today, and it's not something that's super necessary because it all fits. So I don't see a huge point in it right now. When I need to use these, I will probably pre-wind them just to make sure while I'm using them I don't have to deal with yarn barf every 4 seconds. But that's a future me problem. Okay. Alright. So let's get you some crispy clicks. Those are some good clicks. Sick. Okay. That is box number 3. Somehow we managed to fill up a small box, a medium box. Set these down, maybe. And the big box, which is arguably the size of the other two together. So we did pretty good today. That gets rid of all of my cardboard boxes of my stash and makes it to where all of my yarn is now in boxes I am happy with and living in. Something I'm really excited about the new apartment, it has this little like storage unit. They're playing in boxes. But yeah, so there's a little like external storage unit at the new place, and I'm so excited to have these all in like really good containers that can kind of be in an outdoorish atmosphere. It's like by a water heater, but it's still in a very enclosed space, so it would be really nice to be able to store some of this outside of our bedroom, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited for all the storage. All right, so I still have a medium and 2 smalls, it's looking like. And then the one that I rescued from the velvet container. So that's always great. And then I have this little guy in my other medium. I actually don't think it needs a medium. I might move this to one of the smalls. Oh, you know what? You thinking what I'm thinking? Okay, I think that was a much better use of that space. Now I have 2 mediums and 2 smalls. Do I want to go through my other boxes? They're living in box heaven right now. This is like paradise. Hey guys, Editor Kayla here. It's been a couple days, it's been a week or 2 since that last clip, so since then I've done a couple more crafts and some Joann hauls, so look out for those. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I can't wait to put out the next one. Editor Kayla's learning that I like to film a lot more than I like to edit, so sorry for the slow processes, and sorry for any time I say it's still April, because it's definitely already May. So thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe.